Hello, my friends. We're going to be talking more about how to write with a Cricut and how I think it's the coolest thing that it can do. I'm actually going to do this with a Cricut Joy so that you can see you don't have to have one of the big machines to do it. The Cricut Joy can write too. All right, so the first thing you want to do is make sure that you tell Design Space that you're working with a Cricut Joy. You also want to make sure that you are connected, and then you can start with your project. You're going to upload one of the SVGs that I've created, and this one that we're going to be working with could be for tags, could be for an embellishment on a scrapbook layout. It could even go on the front of a card. It could be great for birthday invitations, lots of cool things. These are our swimmers. When you bring this in to Design Space, you upload the SVG, you save it to your computer, then you upload it to Design Space, then you add it to the canvas so you can work with it. My SVGs will come in grouped. You're going to see some of them have instructions, and you don't really obviously want Cricut to write that out. That's just for you. So the easiest way to make sure Cricut doesn't worry about it is to click on this little, it's called a caret in the real world. It's kind of a little sideways arrow. And notice down here, this is the writing. If I click on that, you can see that it's highlighted. I'm just going to click on the eyeball, and that's going to turn it off. Cricut's just going to ignore it. So now the other thing I want you to think about is these items really don't cut out well. They draw beautifully, but they really would just make a big mess if we tried to cut them out. They're designed to be drawn, not cut. Okay, so we got to go one by one and tell Cricut that, because Cricut thinks that we want to cut everything, because that's what it does. So let's click on this girl, and you think, well, wait, I don't want all of you, I just want some. I need to ungroup you. And I need to ungroup again. Goodness sakes alive, I want that one. Bring you over here, and you can see there's still more layers in here, right? This is the drawing layer, and this is the background layer that I want Cricut to draw on. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to come up here to the operation and change it to draw. Hello, Cricut, are you talking to me? Phew. With a pen. And now I'm going to come back and I'm going to select both the background layer and the drawing layer. Notice we have both, the draw and the cut. And I'm going to tell Cricut, yep, this is where I want you to draw. I want you to draw right on there. And the best way to do that is to tell it to attach. And I'm going to repeat the same process with all of these. I'm going to click on you, drop it down, go to the cut layer, change it to draw with a pen, select just those two, and attach them. Working my way along, same thing with this girl. Click on the drop down, change you from a cut to draw with a pen, select both layers and attach. Same thing with this girl and this tag. Now they are grouped together. It's going to be messed up, so I need to ungroup them. I need just the girl. Drop it down. I need just the writing layer. It isn't writing yet, but it's going to be, with a pen. Select both and attach. And last but not least is our plain tag with water drops on it. And I want Cricut to write those water drops. So I'm going to change that to a pen. I'm going to select both and attach. Now I have fixed all of these, so I want them, I could use them this way anytime I want. I'm going to save this because I don't want to have to do that again. And I might want to use these tags again, or I might want to use these embellishments. So I'm going to say save. I'm going to call it swimming embellish. I'm going to need to spell it right. Okay. And where am I going to save it? Now, I have lots of collections because I am a subscriber to the Cricut Access. If you are not and you're using just the free version of Access, you'll have 5. And that's plenty for most people. I'm going to save it in the layouts and save. Now, if I were to come back at another time, let's say new, it's going to clear off, everything's gone, and you think, oh my golly, I just did that. Where did it go? If I come into projects, the drop down, and choose my projects, I will find it. I also can find it up here with my stuff. See, there they are. Now when I click on them, it doesn't look the same anymore, right? I can either say customize, or I can say make it. Make it's just going to send it to the cut screen and cut it out. I might want to mess with it a little bit, so I'm going to say customize for a minute. I just want to make sure. And what I wanted to show you in here is you can change the size of these now that you've changed them to a right layer on a background layer and you've attached them. You can change this size any size you want, and it's going to work out fine. So if you wanted a really big one of these images, you could do that. It's not, it gets this red exclamation point because it's too big for the Joy. Remember I said I was going to cut these on the Joy. So I'm going to undo, bring her back to the size she was before. Everybody's happy. I'm going to tell Cricut go ahead and make it. Remember, Cricut sorts by color. Since all these guys are on white paper, it's going to just go ahead and do it on my, now remember the Joy is a little bit smaller. It thinks it can get 2 girls on one, but it's only going to put 1 boy on one. If you disagree, you can try if you think that you can do it. So let's try and move this guy. I'm going to say move it. And I'm going to try and put it on that one and say confirm. Now notice Cricut puts them on top of each other, but I'm going to try this and see. Do you think it'll work? Nope. So I'm going to say I can hide it. But now remember, my second one is gone. So when you do something like that and it doesn't work well, the easiest thing to do is just say cancel. And you go back to the beginning. Trying to come back and undo what you did gets a little confusing. So I don't want us to watch all of these, right? But I want you to see one of them. So I am going to go down and we are going to, let's do this guy. And I'm going to tell Design Space to continue. It's going to connect it to the Cricut Joy, and we are going to work our way over. Let's see both screens so we can see what's happening. Cricut's thinking. It's connected by Bluetooth, so sometimes it takes it a minute, especially when I'm going live here. We're going to do medium cardstock. I generally cut on Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I like it. It works well. My Cricuts like it. I don't need to change, it'll work well on medium cardstock. I want Cricut to remember that, so all 4 of these are going to cut. I don't have to come back and do this again. It tells me number 1, load the number 4 pen in the clamp. That's what it defaults to, but I want to show you, I am actually using not Cricut pens. These are different than the pens that go in the Explorer or the Maker. The Explorer and the Maker use a bigger pen. We're going to look at both of these so that you can see. I'll put the link to this below the video, and you can always, I ordered these on Amazon. I've had these for a long time and I keep using them and they work out great. They're really inexpensive. What's cool about them is they have 2 ends. They have a fine point and a heavier point, right? It depends on what you want to do. Since we are going with the little, these guys aren't very big, I'm going to go with a fine point and we can get a peek at it and see what we think. So it's the fine point. On the Joy, you have to take out the blade. It sits over here. There's a little magnet in that corner and holds it. And then you pop this in and close it up. Design Space told me to load first the, right here it says load the pen. Next I'm going to want the blade. All right. So now I'm going to load. I actually have a larger mat. I don't need it, but I have one. It's okay. Cricut doesn't care. It's making sure that my mat's okay before it does anything. Now it's ready, and I have to click go over here on my screen. And Cricut's going to go ahead and draw. I'm going to take you back off of this so that you can just see how this looks. It is pretty cool. I find it kind of soothing to watch this crazy thing go on. Cricut draws, and it's going to draw this little boy floating on a tube in all the detail, ready for you to color. I could have put this on a different color paper if I wanted it to, if I didn't want to color it in, I could have put it on a color paper, a different cardstock. But I like coloring it in with my Stampin' Blends, Copics, coloring pencils, Spectrum Noir markers work. This is a water-based marker that we're drawing with. So I'm going to want to let it dry really well before I start hitting it with markers. But it works well. I'm going to show you the finished product in a minute. So Cricut's going ahead and it's drawing. Our little boy's almost done. It's working on the toes. It says it's 82%. I find it fascinating that the machine can draw this cool thing. Now when it gets done, I want you to notice again what happens in Design Space. So it's finished. It's going to tell me load the fine point blade. All right, so I'm going to take you out. Make sure you put the cover back on. Put my blade back in. Come over here to the software and say go. And let's get you back out so you can see the good stuff. You can see that it's drawn our little boy. And actually this is the title that I did earlier and I colored this in, same image. And you can see how cool it looks. It's completely done. I'm going to unload the mat. And here is our embellishment. Remember, when you want to take something off of the mat, the best way to do it is flip your mat over and peel the mat away from the shape. By doing that, you won't curl it. It comes out nice and smooth. If I tried to peel this up, let me show you with this paper. Sometimes if I peel this paper up this way, it kind of curves, okay? But if I flip my mat over and I peel the mat away from the paper, I don't get that kind of curvy thing. And now this is ready for me to color and put this on a birthday invitation. I could put it on an embellishing on a scrapbook page. This is part of a title. Yeah, he's really cute. Ready to color. See you soon.